heard some things.
What things you heard?
I heard some things.
Whoa, ladies and gentlemen. It is me, the incomparable, often imitated but never duplicated, Edward F. Gyack from Nyack, as they used to say. Actually, my dad used to say that. Actually, he still says that. I'm talking about my dad like he's in the past tense. I've got a wonderful show. I mean, the technical difficulties and the technology today, I mean, they just aren't as reliable. Last week, Wild Bill couldn't get his foot phone synchronized to come on. So I had to do a show, basically a hour and 15-minute filibuster about retro TV and Saturday mornings. I thought it was fairly entertaining and informative. Even though I knew the information, I think I did a pretty good job. We start off the show, I guess, the What's Your Beef segment. It's what's bothering me, what's gotten my craw, so to speak, in the last week since we last joined forces. And I guess the first thing is people my age consistently disappoint me. I mean, it's just, you're old. You're boring. You're not thinking. And you're not experiencing life. For instance, I went to Maryland over the weekend, and I was in Boston. Now, listen, not everybody's afforded the luxuries of going places, but this self-imposed isolation by people my age, it bothers me. You should be experiencing life. You're going to die real soon. I got news for you. We're all going to die real soon. So live your life to the fullest. Don't let your world close in. And one of the examples are, okay, but, it is, this kind of steamrolls into my, I guess the thing that gets in my craw, my beef of the week, is this Bad Bunny shit. But there he is, Bad Bunny. All my Facebook friends, all these guys, all these metal guys too. Bad Bunny, how come they don't have a real rock band done? Why do they gotta have a rapper? Bad Bunny, more like Bugs Bunny. You don't know Bugs Bunny from, anything. You don't know who this guy is. You're not staying with pop culture and what's going on. You're still listening to the same Kiss, the same Ronnie James Dio shit they've been forcing down our throats. You gave up. Now, music is hard to find. Music that you like and relate is hard to find nowadays. Okay? You got to go looking for it. You lazy bastards. When are you going to keep listening to the fucking local rock stations that play the same 5 songs every hour? You got to find new music. Now, listen, Bad Bunny is not my cup of tea, as they used to say in the old days. You know what? I'm finding out a lot of these old sayings that us people, and I mean the older people, the over 60, over 55, a lot of these were derivative of old pirates or sailors saying. But I digress. So everything is Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny's going to do half the. First of all, Bad Bunny is current. Okay? This isn't about what the 60-year-old demo. This is about the 25 to 45 demo. Bad Bunny is a Latino artist who's got a pretty good voice. He gets the ladies moving. He could put on a show. What is the Foo Fighters going to do? Is Dave Grohl going to have an affair on stage like he did in real life? I mean, what is he going to do? These guys are decrepit. They're like 50. You want young, you want hot. I don't find a guy particularly hot, but you know what I mean. This guy's gonna now that Kendrick Lamar last year was terrible. I mean, he was come on, Dave. One of these guys is dead. And you got your Pat Schmear, your Pap Schmear over there. This guy is dead on the left. I don't want to see half of Foo Fighters, I mean, listen, I'm not a fan. I'm going. Ballino cut the dead guy out. What's his name? Taylor Hawkins or something? I think that guy was named. Anyway, Dave, to me, this is not interesting. The people, they're going to, how are they going to do a whole fucking halftime show with all the pomp and the circumstance? So all the oldies, but lamies are all about, Bad Bunny, we're going to start with this rap crap. The guy does rap occasionally, but that's not his forte. But they just saw his name, so they immediately thought it was, let's make fun of it. Well, why can't Aerosmith do it again? I got news for you. All these guys, everybody you want is over 75. There's no rock acts left. There's rock acts if you go search for them, but there ain't no rock acts being played on any radio. The only way you can go to Sirius, maybe you'll hear a new rock act. But if you're stuck on Ozzy's Boneyard, listening to fucking, the same old fucking shit, I'm sorry, man. Got to move on.org. Definitively. So Bad Bunny is in your halftime show. Get over it. Go have a snack. You don't like him? Go have a part of the hero. Go get some hero. Go get some chicken wings. Ballino's not going to watch the Super Bowl. He hates sports. I guess I'm right. He didn't chime in. So, get some food. I mean, it's the Super Bowl. How many? I'm surprised any of you people are watching the Super Bowl. Is it time to take a nap, go to sleep? The thing starts at 6:30. Half of you old people will be in it. Oh, yeah. Well, who's this? This is, Jake.
Yeah, that's
low, right?
There's one. There's a Super Bowl that I guess is interesting. A lot of shiny stuff.
Yeah. Is that Shakira with her? I think.
Sure.
Yeah, of course. You throw a chick at scantily Chad Broad out there. Of course, we're all gonna watch. But I will tell you, J-Lo does. She wears her age well, and she, she's still. I don't know what a talent really is. I mean, I know she sings a lot. She can hold it down. She's gonna do outfit changes, this and that. That keeps everybody enthralled. Half the people watch this Super Bowl for the commercials. So this whole Bad Bunny bullshit is just nonsense. Let's get with the times.
Yeah.
They're all fucking grumpy. It's a disappointment, Ballino. It's a disappointment. Because when I graduated high school, I thought I was part of who the fuck is that?
That's Madonna. And
her, God.
Yeah, she was 53 in this picture. I think it was her 53rd birthday.
Yeah, Madge has gotten disgustingly bad looking, and she keeps flaunting her skin. You got to know your limits, Madge.
I can't handle this anymore.
All right, yeah, I know. I can't handle it anymore. We got to get to a guest. We got a fantastic guest today, and this is a gentleman I've met probably in the last 5-6 years of my life. Just an interesting guy, a guy that really, he's like I don't know. I think the guy's name was on Tennessee Tuxedo, Phineas J. Whoopi. He knew the answers to everything. Any topic you bring up, my next guest can talk about it. So I'd like to welcome to the show my friend who is lovingly known as Chris Plugs. Chris Plugs, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Ed.
Yeah.
Good to be here. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Love the introduction.
Well, thank you. I mean, do you have anything to say about this whole Bad Bunny thing? I mean, you're a little bit younger than me.
I'm not opposed to. Yeah, no, I'm not opposed to them having like a rap artist at all or a hip hop artist at the Super Bowl. I just think they'd be better off having a good one. I'm not necessarily a fan of Bad Bunny, but yeah, you know me. Like I'm a big football fan.
Right.
You're a Rangers guy. You're a hockey guy. There is a lot of discussion that the reason he in particular was chosen has to do with like current administration issues.
Okay. I don't
He
want to
made
talk
a statement
politics. Oh, so
that
it's kind of a
No. We're not gonna. But
Okay.
to him, he made a statement months ago that he was no longer going to play within the domestic United States. And it was like a statement he wanted to make on this thing. So yeah, it's worth looking into. And he gives this whole apology to his fans.
So now
There's a lot of people thinking this might be like, they're thinking this might be like a little DEI kind of move. But there's a lot of problems with the NFL that are also surrounding this that just have to do with the game. So
all right.
But
I didn't know
the thing is with the handball. Yeah, with the halftime shows, they're not allowed to perform live anyway. It's all backing tracked, so it doesn't really matter who plays it, Yeah. But like I said, you go get a snack, go get some.
More about the spectacle.
Yeah,
and
I think too. There's a lot of a social dynamic because, like, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. You're the guest. I want to hear from you.
Oh, okay. So last season, there was a big thing going on with Taylor Swift, obviously, because she's now engaged to Travis Kelce. She was at all these games. They were gaining female demographics like out of control. All the merch shops, the women's were flying out, for teams that really didn't typically sell a lot of female merch. As you know, I'm an Eagles fan. Vera Wang actually designs all of our cheerleader stuff. She's a big time Philly fan. So, Roger Goodall and the NFL, they're not going to turn down a buck,
Right.
But they caught a lot of backlash with the Taylor Swift thing. So I think they're trying to maintain that demographic, but kind of going maybe a slightly different direction. Who knows?
No, I'm sure if
I usually use the halftime to go get food.
Oh, there's Taylor. Who's that guy
There it
next
is.
to her?
That was when she was a man. No, I'm just playing.
What?
I'm just kidding. So,
Yeah, really? What's going on
no,
there?
it's
Is that? Oh,
I don't
okay.
know who that is, but maybe
I
that's a
don't
young
know.
Travis Kelce. You never know.
yeah, right. There's Roger Goodell. I know that idiot. It's all a money-making
Yeah, it is
production,
Roger Goodell.
and I just think it's like for the young people. I don't think it's gauged.
Oh,
towards
100%.
us. They want to make the moolah. So let's move on
Yeah.
now. If there was a reggae act on there, you would be ecstatic,
Hey,
right?
reggae
What
or thrash metal, that would be my jam.
Right. If there was a
Yeah.
reggae act,
That will never happen. I don't care how
Okay,
popular
but
the
if
artist
there
gets. They're
was-
never going to have a reggae guy at the Super Bowl.
but if there was, say, you're in charge, you're Roger Goodell, you're in charge of the whole thing. What reggae act are you going to put? What would be the best? I don't know, performance. You could put on the best visual.
If they were going to choose a reggae act for the Super Bowl, I think it would probably go in one of only two directions. Either there's a gentleman from Bermuda. He actually happens to be a white guy doing reggae named Collie Buds. He's really popular. He's got a lot of great club hits, but it's still really traditional reggae. Or they would do like the Marley Sons, because that's like a thing that's going around now. The Marley Brothers are doing their tour, and those would probably be the only two. I mean, there's 1,000 amazing reggae acts that are out there, and don't get me wrong, any one of them would kill it. But I think those are probably the two. I don't really know of many more that are fully reggae that are committed to like that kind of strict sound. Like, Dirty Heads does a lot of reggae stuff, but they also do like hip hop stuff and rock stuff. Stick Figure is like a good times reggae kind of guy. But again, I don't know who has the mass appeal beyond. Yeah, that's the Marley Brothers tour. Great tour, by the way.
Yep.
Damian Marley all the way up to left of the pictures.
Is Ziggy
you know.
Marley in there as well?
I believe Ziggy Marley's in the middle. Steven, starting from my view of the left is Damien, and then you have Stephen Marley. It looks like Ziggy's in the middle, and I know the other two.
You don't have to.
I'm just zoning up things.
I think that probably would have more appeal. The Marley, the son of the great Bob Marley. Oh, again, even the Marley, these guys got to be in their 50s too. I mean, Ziggy's been around as long. I mean, since the 90s.
Oh, he's one of the older ones. You know, he was around. Kamani is on the second. I don't know the gentleman on the end. I don't know which. Well,
okay. We don't have to name them all, but I just wanted to, because I know you're a big reggae guy, and I know that that would be something different. But like you said, it's probably not going to happen. And going back to the Collie Buddz, was that the other dude you referred to? This dude, Collie Buddz. I wonder if there is like. Chris, can you hear me? He looks like he's frozen. Well, if you can hear me, I wonder if there's any backlash. Okay, he's getting a connection issue. I wonder if there's any backlash in the, I guess, reggae community of a white guy doing Jamaican-based music. But probably not. If the guy's ahead, I mean, I think we've evolved as a human race. Then it probably was.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. You're all caught up now.
Yeah. You got a little technology, man.
I know. It sucks. But this is the only... Unless I could invite you to my house and we could do it in the studio. Maybe I can have Ed Dondero come and make my place a studio. But
there you go.
Is there... I don't know if you heard my question, but is there any backlash of a white guy doing Jamaican music? Or is he Jamaican? Does it really matter? Or we just evolved? You remember that guy Snow?
No, that's the one. See, they don't care. He's from Bermuda. He actually has what most people would attribute to a Jamaican accent, though it's not. It's a Caribbean accent. No, that genre they don't care because you can't fake reggae. You know what I mean? It comes from the soul. It's very much like country. It's very, very visceral. A lot of love, a lot of and they're beyond that in that culture. That's the whole philosophy of one love. Is everyone welcome, everyone come in. If you want to be religious, you praise Jah, love, and you share in the vibe kind of thing. So yeah, they don't really care. It's not entirely like, I mean, we absolutely know other scenes that are very much divided and all that, but yeah, they don't care about that.
So it's all about that Jah Rastafari.
That's a part of it, absolutely. A lot of more of the Jamaican guys do the Jah love. Some of the other guys are just kind of about the vibe. There's a kind of a uniform thing that they all like smoking weed. So how angry can you be if you're smoking weed?
Right. But, you never see a street fight amongst weed smokers.
You never see that break out.
No, it never breaks out. Gone. I'm gonna finish on the reggae tip. I mean, you go to a lot of these. You go to a lot of these shows, right? These reggae shows, or you've been to them at least.
I go to a lot of shows in general.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. What is the makeup of a crowd at a reggae show? Is it predominantly men, women?
So, no. If there's a crowd, okay, and I say that with the same love, like you and I go to shows. We go, like Lucky 13. It was 3.5 of us, right? That was my joke that night. There's usually if there's a good crowd, I would say it's probably 50-50 men, women. Here in the States, it's mostly like kind of like white hippie college-y type guys, kids,
I despise them, by the way.
But a steady interest of young Black Americans as well, Okay. But in the Caribbean, it's different. There's still, like that would be the flip where it's predominantly more, black male and females, and then still a filtering of some white people, but the ratio is different. But here, it's genuinely, I don't want to say that it's like going to a jam show where there's like hippies all over the place, but it's that kind of weed culture, there's different genre types in reggae. One of them is known as just good vibes reggae, and that's really kind of the more set the tone for the crowd, is that it's like a good vibes crowd pretty much wherever they go. You do get a lot of college females that I would say want to like drink and dance, don't want to go to clubs, but it's easy listening, so they come out to the reggae stuff. But yeah, it's a laid back crowd,
All right. Well, see, I got a little info about the reggae scene, and you were talking about college kids. I recently went to Maryland, and my hotel was right down the block from the University of Maryland. The Turpins, is that what they're called?
Nice.
Turpins, which I didn't know was a turtle.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a turtle.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't follow college sports, so
yeah, I don't know them. I don't know the mascots.
And then I was with a dude who knew, like,
I don't follow college sports.
Yeah, some dude I was with was like, I know all the nicknames of every. Hey, calm down, buddy. You know all the nicknames of college teams? I mean, come on, use your brain cells for something better. So I had a little issue with him, but I looked at these kids. Now you're a father of two awesome kids, and when I was looking at these college kids, I'm an old dude, and like, they don't look like college kids. They look like, I don't know, juniors in high school. I guess maybe they're not that removed. Is there any reason that kids look younger than I think, that I perceive? You see a college chick in the movies or something.
You know what's funny though? So with my kids, with their friends, some of them look very young, but some of them actually look significantly older than they are. And even within a healthcare range, we talk about this quite a bit, that like Gen Z, which I was told today are called the Zoomers, which I think is kind of a joke because they make fun of boomers
right.
all
And
the time. But the millennials. I don't know. I was going to say there's a big talking point about how the generation is aging in appearance kind of faster than it should. It's visually that they're looking older. And it's not a maturity thing. Like they used to say, like, oh, she's 18, but she looks 25. It's not like that. They're legitimately physically with traits looking older. And they attribute a lot of it to not a lot of mobile activity, sports activity getting outside, and also the vaping, which is enormously bad for you, and just kind of, aging people out in a weird way, but.
All right. Well, maybe University of Maryland's got a lot of preteen looking freaking, college people. I don't know. I think it's all part of, like, you're getting older. It's hard to gauge people's ages for me. Like 20 I think once they hit 30, I can see that they're 30. But I don't know. Before that, I have no idea.
No.
What the fuck do I know? So you were talking a little bit about vaping. Now, you are a healthcare professional. I got a couple questions we discussed previously. Why don't you tell me why vaping is so bad? Why is this bad? I mean, people say, oh, well, I'm getting off the cigarettes, The only bad thing, I heard something about popcorn lung. I don't have no idea what that is. Why don't you tell me why vaping is so bad?
There's two avenues, but we got to kind of jump back in time a little bit to make one of them make sense. So I'll get to that second. The popcorn lung, I can fill you in on very quickly. If you've ever known anyone with asthma, they have an inhaler. So that's an emulsion. They got to give it a shake, right? And then you pull a Goonies and you kind of do things. So that's also a steroid. So what happens is the medicine overrides the emulsion, basically allows your alveoli, when you breathe, the little sacs inside of your lung, to expand, receive that material, and then what the steroid does, it inflates them, so this way you can get a stronger breath. Vape juice is one part is that emulsion, but then the other part is a different type of chemical. Then they put the flavor additives in. And then if it has nicotine, nicotine is just a poison. So that's the third type. And there's nothing to dilute the nicotine. So what happens is when you breathe that stuff in, the reason they call it popcorn lung is popcorn lung was essentially tagline after people back in the day that used to make popcorn. It would create a bit of a dust and they'd inhale it, and it creates this perpetual kind of cough that will never go away. And
Really?
you know, the longer you go with coughing, which is why coughing is very dangerous for you in extended periods, is it will eventually start scarring your lungs to a point where your lungs can't keep up with repair, and you will never be able to fully take in the amount of oxygen you would have been able to had your lungs been healthy and unscarred. So that's the popcorn lung thing. Yeah, this is like a great diagram. It really does. It just kind of leads to a lot of wheezing, the coughing, and then obviously just you're always short of breath, which just isn't good because your airflow also assists in your entire, blood flow, right? You need healthy oxygen to create healthy blood and everything. So, it's just not great. But the main reason that vaping is just absolutely terrible for you is because of the type of vaping that these kids are doing now in these box vapes, right? So like 10 years ago, there was mechanical vaping, right? And that is like, you'd see those guys, they'd be doing like cloud contests and they'd be huge plumes of clouds. And what it was like, it was, like let's call it a bowl kind of thing, right? And you'd have a coil. The coil would sit in this heating agent, that kind of thing. Exactly. The box mod, that's like an old school thing. And you would drip fluid you'd put a piece of cotton into this coil. You'd hit the battery button, the power button would ignite the coil, lighting it up, and then create a steam or mist or vapor from the cotton being soaked with the flavor, right? So you'd have to drip, and then you'd hit it, take it in, and, you'd blow this huge cloud. The thing is, those box mods that helped a ton of people lose weight, quit smoking, boom, right there. That's my man throwing a big cloud. Okay, they started taking a serious amount of money away from big tobacco. And the tobacco companies aren't taking that shit. They're like, hell no. And you can look at, there was like 2 or 3 years in a row, they were taking a loss, like a significant loss. So what they decided to do was they wanted to create something, and they literally, in the original types that they created, they actually looked like cigarettes. Steven Dorff it's funny, Family Guy just made fun of him the other day for this. They said he quit acting to vape. They were called Blue, BLU, and they were like, they looked like cigarettes, and you'd go to inhale it, and the blue light at the tip at the end would flare up, right? They were like shit. They would, too expensive. They limited nicotine. So what they decided to start doing was literally take over and make these new box vapes. There you go. And the box vapes, the thing about it is this. So when you were mechanical vaping, what you would do is you would go into a vape store and the vape guy would say, hey, are you looking to get off cigarettes? And they'd say, yeah. Oh, are you looking to quit? You say, yeah, okay. What do you smoke? And you'd say, oh, I smoke Camels or I smoke Marlboro Reds or whatever. Each one of those cigarette brands equaled a certain percentage volume of nicotine. So Marlboros might be like a 9%, Camels might be an 11%, they would know, And so if you were going to start vaping to quit smoking, they'd find out what you used to smoke, and that would be your nicotine rating that they would start you at. So they'd start you at a 9. You'd puff, puff, puff. You're not going to be able to do it as much as a cigarette. And eventually what happens is your brain it's still getting what it needs, but now it's like getting a little bored. So then you drop down. And they used to do it in like 1.5 to 3% is the drop down. So you might go from a 9 to a 6, and a 6 to a 3, 3 to a 1.5, 1.5 to a 0. And then you puff the 0 for as long as it took you to get there. And then basically you've quit smoking and you're good to go. My brother did it 10 years. He's smoke free.
God bless.
With the box vapes, and yeah, truthfully, and big love, George, if you're watching this. With the box vapes, the companies can't account for what brand you used to smoke, right? So what they do is they put an overmax nicotine into the box vapes. So it is literally, I think like the highest nicotine in a cigarette was something like 13.7%, if I'm correct. So they have like a 14 in these box vapes. So right off the bat, that makes them exponentially more addictive because nicotine is insanely addictive to humans. And then they add flavoring and they add everything else. And so now you have this full unit and like 40, $50 or some shit too, which is crazy. And then the kids just huff and puff because it's also a social thing. This generation is like, oh, I'm not smoking. And everybody vapes, so whatever. And they really actual
I was very interested in what he was going to say next. We'll have to wait for him to catch up. Balor, could you go back to that picture of that guy blowing the smoke there? Yeah, this thing, there's some kind of world championships of them blowing this smoke, which I find quite disturbing. I mean, they're actually having championships of who can blow the biggest smoke. And this world is just, maybe it was on the Ocho. The Ocho is always informative. Chris has lost his connection. We're not just going to talk about vaping tonight. You people are like, what is this? He's doing a public service announcement show? No, I find it interesting. It's my show. I'll do what I want. I'll talk to whoever I want to. I like informing myself as well as doing other things with myself. Yes. Whoa. So we've explored vaping is just bad, man. And he basically said nicotine is poison.
Yeah, I mean, the next thing we're going to be talking about are not nearly as bad.
Well, yeah. Anything we can talk about could be well. So Chris is going to try to rejoin us here. I guess I'm going to switch topics a little bit. We'll get off the vaping. But I think we got a pretty good... See, I didn't know, Balor. Did you know anything about this vaping shit?
Yeah, I know a lot about vaping.
That's right.
It's annoying.
It just... I don't know. I was under the impression that it would stop people from smoking, but it's become such a young person's thing, and they're doing it with every substance. And I will tell you, my area where I live is inundated with vape shops. Like they pop up everywhere, these vape shops.
yeah.
Right? Yeah. All right, Chris, you're back. Welcome back. Thank you so much.
I am back. Thank you. I know this is...
Well, let's just no, listen. Hey, listen. It's modern technology. It fucks up. It's not like if I can hold this out in my pergola back in the back. Chris Russo says, "Smoke to get high, not to die." I don't know what that means, but hey. So okay.
He smoked weed, not cigarettes, man. Come on.
All right.
Good man to him too. You're much healthier smoking weed than smoking cigarettes.
Yeah. I mean, just to tie this up, you mentioned that nicotine is poison. Now we know it, and you've also mentioned to me in person that smoking is probably the hardest of all drugs to quit. Is that? And explain to me why it's poison.
Absolutely.
So it is.
So nicotine. So I'll start with like opium, because heroin, there are actual opium receptors in your brain. There are no direct nicotine receptors in your brain or in your body. So what happens is when your body ingests a poison like that, it has nothing else to do than try to force it out. But with repetitive smoking, you're training your body to what it does, just diversifies it on a cellular level, and it just gets in you. Literally shooting intravenous cocaine than smoking cigarettes. And I even have a friend who legitimately makes a joke. He was his mother was a junkie. He was born addicted. He spent his entire youth battling that kind of thing. Got into heroin in himself and sick. We got him clean by like folks that he goes, I do heroin. I'm not stupid. I would never smoke. And that's
Right.
his joke. But yeah, no, cigarettes, nicotine, highly, highly addictive. You know, if you ever looked at, like we were talking about the vaping, when you look at the coloration of that vape juice from a few years ago with the different nicotine levels, it gets darker. So it's almost like that beer scale where it starts at like kind of a light beer and then ends in like Guinness. It just gets darker and darker and darker and darker and darker. The thing about cigarettes is that, so if you ever notice that no one's addicted to smoking cigars, I'm sure maybe one or two people probably are, but you never really see that. And the reason you don't is because that's actual fresh rolled tobacco, and a cigar has to live in a humidor in order to keep it alive. Cigarettes do not. Cigarettes
could be lying around for years.
Yeah, they're dead tobacco. Exactly. They are dried out dead tobacco, and they have a ton of preservatives put into them to keep them, quote unquote, fresh. Those preservatives die over time. Since they can't predict when the sale life would be, they put other additives in there, and you wind up with, I think the average cigarette has 112 or 127 chemicals in it. And so your body then becomes acute to that. And the other thing is, even just speaking medicinally, oral ingestion is always one of the fastest routes. It's the second fastest route besides intravenous to deliver any kind of, ingestible product, because you have so many open, loose pores in there. And now you're breathing that into your lungs, which is also unprotected. And it's getting that in there. And it's just forcing your body to deal with something that it shouldn't through its natural filtration. When you go, if you see firefighters, and what they tell you to cover your mouth, cover your nose, try to breathe through your nose if you have to breathe at all, because you can filter a little bit through the nose. But they know that smoke ingestion is just terrible for you, And so when you're starting to do that, you're just pumping these chemicals into your, your body and everything. And it just gets kind of crazy. I'll end on one little thing. I know we're going to move on. Quick thing about my uncle who quit smoking a couple of years ago. So he went for a routine checkup. He did an EKG. The doctor was like, nope, we got to go to the hospital right now. Within 17 hours, having open heart surgery. Right, comes out of the open heart surgery flying colors, right? Totally survives. They go to close his chest up, and his rib cage wouldn't close. The bones were just mush because he was a habitual smoker his entire life. So now he's healed. He's with us, but they had to go through a ton of crap to get his chest to close. Weeks and weeks and weeks in the hospital. But imagine the irony of that you survive open heart surgery only to die from an infection because they couldn't close your chest, because your brain, your bones are basically decalcified and they're turning to mush from over smoking. And I mean, that's kind of the thing. Yeah. I always think about that, because it's so tragic. Like that, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, it's just
and that was even with me with the aneurysm. They kept asking me, "Are you sure he doesn't vape? You don't vape, And my wife was like, "No, he doesn't do anything. It's just coffee, water, and beer."
Right.
Like he doesn't smoke or anything. That's that was a concern. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Coffee.
Coffee. Listen, everybody's got to have their their vice of coffee. I think it's okay. I'm not a coffee drinker, which shocks a lot of people. I don't like anything hot that drink. I don't even like soup, which shocks a lot of people.
So my brother doesn't drink anything hot. One of my former guys, Big Tiki Steve, if he's watching Big Love, he doesn't drink anything hot. And my wife really doesn't drink anything hot either. Me, I am fully addicted to coffee. I love coffee.
If you were addicted to circus peanuts, if you were addicted to circus peanuts, then I would have questioned, your mentality, where you are. But your coffee seems to be.
I would have questions too.
Yes, circus peanuts.
Yeah.
There's only one person I know enjoys it. Anyway, I guess it'll be a good transition to going from circus peanuts to let's talk about the retro. This is something I find fascinating about you. I mean, not just the healthcare stuff and just all that stuff. I love the fact that you, and I just learned before the show that you have headed several retro arcades or been involved with in the last how long? I mean, how long have you been interested in? Tell me about,
since I was a kid.
Okay, but when did you get your first job? Like, was it later in life? Was it earlier? There
right,
we
so
go. There's some retro.
No, I can tell you. So my very first job, legit. This is actually kind of funny too. Was at McDonald's, and I got hired. And the woman that was doing
McDonald's. You worked at
the woman that was doing the scheduling went on a maternity leave. I got lost in the shuffle. Never got put on for a shift. I finally, months later, get a couple of shifts. I wind up getting into it with my manager. I was, a stubborn kid. Walked out of there, went home. And I went to Smith Haven Mall, which is near us. I got a job working at a comic book shop. And that's when you work in the mall, as soon as you get a job there, that's kind of like your gateway drug to other employment there.
Oh, they get to know.
I was going
to
down
know you from the other stores.
They get to know
like you're at the Orange Julius.
Yeah, they get to know you.
Work at the...
And so I was in the arcade all the time at my break.
Now,
yeah, exactly. Well, you know what it is, because they know you're going to be there on time.
Let me ask you.
And I was in
time out
all the time.
Wait a minute. Hold the phone. Hold the phone.
Time
out. Let me tell you, I spent many hours at time out as a kid. Bumming quarters off my friend John Chapetta.
I was probably working there.
A couple of my friends worked there. Did you actually? Timeout was the place to be. And if you don't remember game room etiquette, ladies and gentlemen, you used to have to put your quarter on top of the game to signify you had next game. Right? Wasn't that a ritual or a pre?
Yep.
Yeah. And timeout was the place to be. There it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. You could either put it back of the game on the marquee, or you could put it on the top deck of the controls.
Look at this. What is that? Is that some kind of ride out in front of that? What is that? I think that's a plane or something. You could. I don't think we had that one in ours. Although I did wear that outfit that guy's wearing. No, there's no way I ever wore a turtleneck in my life, if that's a turtleneck. But this looks very similar to the one that was in Smith Haven Mall, correct? Well, I think we may have lost.
Oh, I'm still seeing the flips, so I'm sure it'll catch up to me.
Oh, okay. You haven't moved on.
But yeah, I started working. Okay. Yeah, I started working in the comic shop. Was down in the arcade all the time. And actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. Oh my God! Hold on a second. That was wow. Okay, now when I left McDonald's, oh my goodness, I completely forgot about this.
Don't worry about it. It's live.
I got a job working with my aunt at Spaceplex. That was my first.
Spaceplex.
Wow. I don't know. Do you remember Spaceplex?
Oh yeah, I remember that place. Oh, we're not allowed to talk about local stuff. Joe Rocket doesn't like that.
Oh yes. So for those of you who aren't aware of what Spaceplex was, it's a giant entertainment center. They had carnival rides, Lasertron, mini golf. We had 50 pinball machines lining the back wall, and we had a huge, huge video game pit. And I did everything from prize redemption to the rides, and I eventually started working on the games. And that was my first introduction there. And then when Spaceplex closed, I went to the mall, started working Planet Comics, and navigated my way down to Time Out. And eventually I went from just working Time Out as a general tech all the way to manager and then regional manager. And I had a couple of different locations.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then we have to fast forward like 20 something years. And I did a small stint, couple of months at the guy in the mall now, but we don't have to talk about that. But I loved arcades, man. I loved arcade games. I have such a passion for them,
Now, when you first discovered games, was there still a home? Again, I can't remember anybody's age, but what home console was the big console when you first started, like being aware of video games?
We had Atari.
The Atari.
Yeah, when I was at that,
16, what was
we
it?
had. I guess the 5200, the one that kind of had the wood grain, like kind of
Okay.
the typical classic system. That and Coleco and Intellivision were really what was out.
ColecoVision was the
I'm sure
bomb.
Nintendo. Yeah, Nintendo was on the threshold, but that's the one. Yep, that's the one.
Only came with one controller.
Yep. Yeah.
Had to go buy the other one.
They started you early.
Yeah.
Getting your money.
Yeah.
But no, I always loved stand-up machines. There was just something about it. It was like a full immersion, a full escape. I knew almost every location within a 5-mile radius of my house that had a stand-up arcade game. We had a restaurant in Selden. Joe Rock local. Sorry.
Oh, don't mention anything local.
We had
Don't worry about him.
a local restaurant
Guy's a
that
moron.
was called April's, and it was a burger joint, like a 70s.
Yeah, I remember
typical,
April's.
burger
They used to have small burgers there. Like, there were small.
Yeah, they did the biggies and the littles.
Yeah, I remember that place. Near the go-kart.
Yeah, near the go-kart range.
Near
exactly.
the go-kart.
And so you would go in there and, you'd walk into the counter. The seating was off to the right. And then behind the seating, they had an arcade. And, the guy wasn't dumb. He had like 10 or 12 games there. So we would ride our bikes up there. We could bring them inside, put them in the one corner, play all day, and then go home. The go-kart range had a small shed with a couple of arcade games.
Yeah, I remember that,
There was video, like rental stores, laundromats all over the place. But the big one for me that literally probably started the addiction was that we had a Child World toy store. There was Child World, Play World, and Toys R Us with the 3 back then. KB was a little smaller, but the big guys, So we had a Child World, and right next door to Child World was this store called Channel. And Channel was like a Home Depot back in the day. Okay. And the one that was in my town, the alleged story, hey, there it is. The alleged story is that the owner's wife got caught in the rain shopping. And she said, I never want to have that happen to me again, being locked out and getting caught in the rain. So he put a glass awning enclosure over the front of Channel, tiled the inside hallway, and this way contractors could wait in there without being rained on. And they had a video game, and it was called Satan's Hollow, and it was a
Great
single
game.
stick.
By the way, a fantastic game.
Amazing.
One of the best games ever.
And absolutely, and very complex too at the time, And so that was in that glass overhang, so I could go there all year round, rain, sleet, snow. It doesn't matter what the weather was, and I could go up there and start pumping in quarters and everything. And it was just definitely one of my all-time favorite games. That's it. Love that red stick, the demon on the side. And just all of that culminates.
No, I was going to say, the
I'm
demons would throw pitchforks at you. You had to build a bridge across the hollow in order to advance to the next level. There it is. Yep. There's a demon.
You had to get 4 parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was
you had to kill enough of them to drop the piece. You had to collect 4 parts, then you could cross over, and you keep going and keep going and keep going. It is still to this day considered one of the most difficult arcade games ever made. And it was a beautiful machine. It ran perfect. And I was up there all the time.
The audio was great too. Like the way they would come screaming down. It was like, it still is my favorite arcade game. I think.
No, it's tremendous. It
had nothing to do with me worshiping Satan at the time. It was just I like the video game.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, I'm 7 years old, right? And I get into metal and reggae at the same time. So me being a young metalhead and going up and seeing this game was, dude, let's rock, Right. This was amazing. And my parents didn't have a problem with me playing it. And why that's actually important specifically for me is that I went to a Catholic school when I was younger.
Uh-oh.
So
heresy, you heretic.
Of like, oh, that's Satan's Hollow, but my parents were cool and they were like, no, he can think for himself. So it was everything kind of, all the pieces fell into place. And that was one of those ones I started working towards. And when I would play, I sucked for so long at that game. And then I started getting good.
It took a while.
Crowds would form every once in a while,
It took a while.
Yeah, it took a while. And
Yeah, this was a great game.
Arcade games were designed to be entertaining, but also make money. And it is in that aspect that they are far superior to any video game today. I mean, the graphics may be better, the sound may be better, but I mean, how many times can I play through Elden Ring when I've already gone through the game, 150 times? You know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas with an arcade game, the level of challenge is that they're designed in such a way that you probably can't beat them.
Well,
And then there's certain games that just don't have endings. So,
right. Now, as an arcade guy and working in the art, there were settings in order to make the game like a ridiculous challenge. Like I would put a quarter in the game, and the next thing you know, everything's flying at me, and I'm dead. There were settings, right, to kind of maximize profit.
Well, it actually, although it did maximize profit, it actually doesn't even come from that. So where it comes from is that Japan is very prideful in all of anything they make. And they would make games, whether it was for the arcade or it was a home console, and they would just have a regular setting. Right? And so what would happen is when they came to the United States domestic market, customers here were demanding more of a challenge. So these games had to go back. They had to ramp things up a bit. And now that's when you got the selection of do you want normal or hard, right? That's pretty typical for a home console. And so that was something that they started to add into the arcade systems. A lot of what it was mostly to keep up with certain frame rates for the CRTs. But for example, like I'm very particular about my Miss Pac-Man machines that I play on. I won't play on a slow setting Miss Pac-Man machine because then they're just looking to steal money from you. You know what I mean? You can tune the speed, and you need that. Now you don't want it too fast, but you don't want it too slow. There are other things too. There were certain chips that you could get. You could kind of put on little settings that could ramp up a little more difficulty, things like that. It was really meant very earnestly to increase the challenge. In turn, it causes them to make more money because obviously then you just keep pumping quarters in and, I won't be beaten by a game and, meanwhile, like $20.
I always hated the game like that wouldn't give you like 3 starting ships or 3 Pac-Mans. Like sometimes they would cheese you and there'd be one with 2. I'm not playing that. So I think it was counterintuitive for them to have that because, after one play, I'm not playing it again. And then conversely, when you saw something with 4, you're like, hey, I'm playing this. I got an extra chance. I got more time. Because it took a while to perfect playing these games. And you would spend a lot of money getting into it. And I remember when the games went from a quarter to 50 cents, this was a big thing for me. The first game,
that was huge.
Yeah, the first game I remember that went to 50 cents was a game called Dragon's Lair. This was a CD-ROM game. It was the first CD, and there was also another game called Space Ace. Laserdisc, thank you. They were Laserdisc.
Yeah.
And this game, in order to progress in the story, you had to go right, left, you had to memorize it. And if you didn't know exactly what to do, you were going through a lot of money.
You were done.
They had a place in Penn Station. As a matter of fact, I think it was called Subway, which was like the gathering of all the nerds waiting for the train to play all these games. There's Dragon's Lair. Did you even attempt to play Dragon's Lair? I was kind of like,
I've beaten all 3 of them. So there's Dragon's Lair 1, 2, and Space Ace. Yeah,
I remember Space Ace. I don't remember the 2.
You want to know the sad part? Dragon's Lair, if you know exactly what to do, right? You know exactly which movements to go into, right? You can finish Dragon's Lair in less than 15 minutes. They're not long games.
And people would gather around you to watch the game because it has a story. And in the story, it's like, wow, he got past the bridge. He got past that. There's Space Ace.
They also, fun fact, they were animated by Don Bluth, former Disney animator.
Don Bluth?
Oh, Don Bluth is famous. He's one of the
I don't know who.
historically
Tell
greatest
me.
American animators of all time. He was a former Disney animator. He left, went to DreamWorks, created Don Bluth Animation Studio. Fievel is American Tail was one of his big ones. He did the Dragon's Lair Space Ace. He's gone on to do, I think he has like 50 or 60 animated films to his credit, all of which are very famous that you probably would know.
This guy looks a little like who's the guy that did Pink Flamingos? John. I'll have to look at his name. Let's see. Pink Flamingos. Yes. Yeah. John Waters. He looks a little like John. Wow, look who he's at Washington State Summer Con. He doesn't look like that now. That's false advertising. Hey, there it is. Chris was right.
No. That's him like 70 years ago.
Oh, okay. 70. He's going to be there. There's Don Bluth. Chris, I told you, Ballinor, he is a plethora of knowledge. He knows everything. You could talk vaping. You could talk cartoons, games, anything. He just knows it all. He should have his own show. Who else we got there?
Yeah, I guess
I
you're
wonder
fired.
who that baby is. That Baby the Dragon? I'm not sure. But anyway, Don Bluth is a acclaimed director and an animator.
Yeah, it's the dinosaurs one. I think there's like 70 of them now.
Oh.
Land Before Time. There we go.
Land Before Time, that's from?
Yeah, the dinosaur there next to Fievel. There's some princess up there. I don't know who she is.
Yeah, that might be the Space Ace. She was kind of like sexy at that time. Chris is rejoining us. I heard that he is he's going to come back with better internet next time. We're definitely going to have him on. I mean, he is a wild card. He knows what he's talking about. We were talking about Satan's Hollow. Another game I really like was a game called Gyrus, Gyruss, and that's where you started off at the first planet next to the sun, or maybe it was the opposite. Maybe you started from the outer galaxy, and then our galaxy, the outside of our galaxy, and worked inwards. That was pretty cool. You had
I don't mean to be off topic here, but I have some news for you if you'd like.
Go ahead. Wait, breaking news.
Yeah, this might be pertinent to what's happening with our friend here.
Okay.
AOL shut down its dial-up internet service on September 30th, 2025. So a few days ago.
Oh, really? So AOL is no more?
Yep, it's no more.
They're not even have their email anymore?
I don't know if they still have the email, but I'm assuming that your friend here is on that dial-up.
Ah, come on. That's low. It is funny. Maybe his AOL account is not working. There's Gyrus. Boy, 83. Those were the days.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah. But they were, man. I
don't remember that, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, I know. It's the 83. I'm just getting out of high school. The world is my oyster, as they say out here in New York. But, I'm thinking Gyrus. I think I may have gotten something wrong with that whole thing, but I'm talking to myself. But yes, Gyrus was a great game.
Yeah, there's some gameplay footage of pixels doing stuff.
Yeah. The stuff would come from the center outwards, and there's like a meteor there. There's some satellite. That thing, the white and red thing, is a part of a satellite, as I remember. And my cat has joined the broadcast.
Aw.
Vera, can you take care of this cat? Wow, my cat hearing my voice once again is meowing in the background. Maybe my cat's AOL account has been canceled as well. We never know. Puss in Boots at AOL.com. As a matter of fact, Vera, my wife, has an AOL email account. Can you believe that?
Yeah, actually, I can.
Yeah. Well, she don't like to change. I mean, I remember back in the day with the emails, it was like Hotmail. That was it. Wow, you're edgy. You got Hotmail. It's like not really anything.
Hey.
What, you have Hotmail?
No comment.
Whoa, look at you. You're edgy. Yeah,
It's
so
me,
we're
Edge
waiting.
Lord.
The Edgelord, yes. So hopefully Chris will rejoin us. AOL is off the air. Let's see. There we go. Chris was talking about Miss Pac-Man. Looks like this person has eaten all the power pills or whatever they used to call those things. The Atari version of this game is absolutely horrible. When Atari Console got the rights to do this game, it was terrible, as well as Asteroids, another terrible Atari conversion, which now, if you look to the right, you got ColecoVision. Their Donkey Kong is very similar to, well, that isn't the version, but the ColecoVision version was very similar, not as sharp, but had it so you felt like you might be playing it at an arcade. And I wonder back in the day how much these companies paid in order to get the rights to these games. And it also was limitations on some of the games with controllers, the joystick versus the ColecoVision, which had a dial and buttons. And this goes on, even now between the Xbox controllers and the PlayStation controllers. Although, I mean, Ballino, do you know if you can kind of get a adaptable PS2 for a controller for an Xbox? Is that something they can do? Or
Yeah,
they can do that? Because I grew up on PlayStation and Genesis.
you can get an emulator.
And emulators are cool too. You can play, and you can set the settings for that as well on the emulator, how fast you want it. And there are some crazy games that they have a video arcade convention out here in Nassau every year. And I've been to it, and a lot of people are playing these games on emulators as you were speaking. So talking about the other game is Frogger, which is my wife's favorite game, I believe. I was not a big Frogger guy. I felt like Frogger was way too boring, although I will tell you that log part I always found very difficult. But I don't know. I was more of an action guy. What do we got? Frogger gameplay. That looks terrifying to me. Looks like 4,600. Yep. That looks
Incredibly boring.
See, I'm glad that I have a compadre that kind of agrees with me that Frogger was kind of boring. And I never liked first-person shooters, too. I didn't get into that at the arcade. At home, I started getting into, what was that game called? It was one of the war-based titles. I remember being a sniper and
Battlefield?
It might have been Battlefield.
That was an old one.
Yeah, it definitely was out for the PS1. CPC. Oh, here he's back. Chris Plux.
Hey, all right.
Yeah, we're back.
Call of Duty, maybe? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, Call of Duty. But I remember going from town to town and sneaking. And I like that. I never liked the games you shoot a ghost, you shoot zombies, the arcade games. I never really liked that.
House of the Dead, yeah.
Yeah, that. That was not my my jam, so to speak. But for me, there was a small window in which I was in arcade games, and then it got too difficult for me to play. I just didn't have the reactions. What was your jam? You mentioned Miss Pac-Man. What was another big jam for you as far as arcade games?
when I first started going to arcades, it was definitely, I loved Miss Pac-Man, Baby Pac-Man, Donkey Kong 3, which is incredibly unique. Not like any other Donkey Kong. You're actually spraying this like insecticide up. It's kind of almost like a shooter.
Wow.
Galaga was a big one.
Yes, which
You know,
was
I like top-down shooters. And then when the 90s happened, I got straight into fighting games, you know.
like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. What was the other games? Yeah, there was those scrollers that would come across. Edward Dondero has joined the chat. Yeah, we're having a little technical issues with Chris. We had him on a good run there, Eddie. We were talking about arcade games. Now, you know, I'm sure you go. This is Mortal Kombat Armageddon. I never got into these games. I didn't. Again, I know Eddie played a lot of Street Fighter. He played a lot of Street Fighter 2. He was, you know, you had to have motor skills. At this point, my motor skills at the age of 28 were degenerating even at that point. And you had to know secrets. You had to know secrets. Like one guy would have a secret kick. This guy would have you know, something else. You had to know their special moves, I guess. And there was always one kid who spent like all day at the pizza place learning. I remember Blanca. I remember something with his hair lit up or something. I don't know who the best was. Ed, can you dial into the show? I mean, I'll send you the link. Oh, he's calling you Edward. I like that. Yeah, these, I guess, were the characters you could select. But I only remember Blanca for some reason. Oh, Ryu was another guy I saw people play a lot. I have no idea who the best was. You know, but so they had those games, and those were a little bit above my skill level, as they say. There's actually an Ed in this. Ed, how good is that? EO or ED? Ed, if you want to join the broadcast, just click that link. I don't know what your situation is right now, but certainly love to have you. Oh, you're at work. Okay, well, I understand. Your man is in charge of important things over there. And we had Chris on for a good, I'd say, good straight hour without any interruptions. And basically the show is winding down, as they say. Hopefully I get Chris on to say my goodbyes. You know what game I really liked was a game called Tempest. Tempest was a video game that had it was a color vector graphics game. And vector graphics were in some games, mostly in black and white. There's Tempest 4000. I don't know about 4000, but Tempest was a game where you would be given different shapes and you would have to kill all the shapes for points. Hey, Ed, how are you? There he is. Do you remember this game, Tempest, at all? Wow. Ed, can you hear me?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah. There he is, the great Ed Dondero. How are you?
I'm in my office.
Wow, look at this. Who's that?
Oh, here comes Chris again.
Yeah. Chris has like the bandwidth. I don't know what's going on with his.
Back now, and I think we're lost.
All right, listen. I gotta go start the men, so I gotta go.
Okay, all right. Well,
Got
thanks
work
for
to
checking
do.
in, bro.
I'll see you later.
Minute
All
man.
right.
Get out of it.
See, you take.
Hi, Chris.
Wow.
He looks very. All right. Now Ed didn't turn off his camera, so we're going to see everything that goes on at work. Oh, there he goes. Chris, can you hear me? Tommy, can you hear me? Well, we were talking about Tempest. I don't know if you remember that game, but Chris looks like he's having
Kinda.
You kind of remember that game? Yeah, well, you are younger than me. This is Tempest. This game. This game is hard to find.
Amazing.
This game is hard to find, even if
Love
you want to
second.
buy it secondhand, because there was a problem with this game where there was a part that would burn out, and I don't know what the actual name of it. So it's very hard to find, and I haven't seen it available. It would be hard to play on a mouse but apparently there was. I never tried it with an emulator, but this game Tempest was my jam. If you got past a certain level, there was a urban legend that of all the hundreds of shapes or the 50 shapes they threw at you, there would be a level where it was just completely black and no shape, and you had to play basically, with no shape. And it was, oh, you ever get to the black level? Oh, yeah. But it was never confirmed. I never witnessed it, so it probably didn't happen. So, and look, you got another guy, EJD. It could have been me, Ed. There's Tempest and the $4,000 original, all new art and electronics. Now, I think if that would be a deterrent for me to buy this.
Hey, I think this is a good idea for a birthday gift for you.
$4,000? Vera, I would no. I mean, it does ship from Illinois. Maybe we could save on the shipping. I mean, if we went out there. Why is Ed still on? Please make sure Ed's not on. So I want him to keep his job. But it's quite amazing. All right. So Chris it looks like he's pretty much done. And I know he's probably frustrated, but I'm going to tell you the time that he was on was awesome. And Balano, I think you'll even admit that you might have learned some things today from Chris.
I always learn things from this show.
Yeah. It's amazing. Chris, how are you?
I'm back.
Oh, okay. Well, we've kind of run out of time.
I see this.
I know. I feel bad. Maybe we'll have you on again in a couple weeks. Maybe a couple days before. We'll kind of do a test run to make sure everything is going better. You're doing better.
I'm gonna get my son on this. He's a network guy.
Oh, that's what we
try
need.
to figure out this whole thing. I'll tell him Big Ed needs me on. I heard things.
Oh yeah,
I gotta get this right. We gotta get.
I heard a lot of good things today. I heard about the popcorn lung. I heard about the reggae. I heard about the arcade experience. I heard about the home arcade. We got plenty of top.
I actually have. I don't have. It's not a prop, but I brought something with. I don't know if you can see this, but I'll try to put it up to the camera. It says, "I'll try to get." There we go. Team Namco.
Right.
So that was from when I was running Timeout. Towards the end of our run, Namco had bought Timeout from Edison Brothers, and part of their little swag pack was this branded Swiss Army knife, along with a ton of games and swag shirts and all that kind of stuff. So this knife is from probably like 1995 or 97 maybe.
Wow,
been with me the whole time.
When was the last time you've used that Swiss Army knife?
I actually use it quite often.
Oh,
yeah. I've never met a tool I didn't like. So
right, you. Well, I'm the biggest tool you know.
I don't know about that. But,
well, I thank you. I thank you for joining me, and
absolutely.
I'm gonna have you back in like 2 weeks. So, but get your son on the job. And
yeah, we'll get this thing going for real. I'll make sure everything's dialed in, and whatever is going on.
Did you see that Brother Ed joined our conversation there for a minute?
No, because I don't have any of the who's talking, who's watching.
Oh, well, he joined us from work, and then said, "I have to go because I have to go talk to my crew."
Yeah,
that he's working, and then he left his camera on so I can hear everything that's going on. But we decided we want him to keep his job, so we muted that. Valinor, the great producer.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again for doing.
Yeah, you don't want it. That's
Yeah, you
Oh, no problem. Thank you so much for having me. And like I said, I was really looking forward to this, so we definitely can do it again. I'll make sure everything
don't
is
worry.
worked out. I don't know if it's my end, your end, both ends, whatever. It's probably my end. It's probably
It
yours,
takes
mine.
a while, and I really should get together with you guys, like the guests, a day before, not waiting the last half hour like I do. But I try to keep the spontaneity
That's all
going,
right.
and
I mean, we're close enough in proximity in real life. Yeah, that's why I thought maybe you had an actual studio or something. Yeah, I'd just come down. We could wrap.
right. Well, who knows? I may get Brother Ed on this, making me a studio. He likes what I got down.
I'll build the studio.
What?
We'll get it all. I'll build up the framework. He can wire it up with the microphones.
That's great, man.
We'll get this thing going, man.
All right. Thank you so much, Chris. I really appreciate you taking
no
the
problem.
time.
I'll see you soon, Ed. Absolutely. And
Take care.
goodbye to everyone that was watching. So
Yes. Good night, my friend.
you well. Thank you. You as well. Man.
There you go. The great Chris Plugs, a fountain, a legendary fountain of information, as far as I'm concerned. Once again, the fourth show is now in the books, as they say, and it will continue. I like the fact that friends are Facebook messaging me while I'm on a show that's being advertised on Facebook. So they're like, I don't even know you have a show going on, but I want to know what you're doing next Monday. Well, they're getting unfriended. I'm only kidding. But Ballador, once again, another bang-up job. I mean, on the fly with the graphics, with the videos, with the Bad Bunny stuff, with the arcade stuff, with the drug stuff, with the vape stuff, all over the place. And he comes up like, just a gem once again. So, Ballador, I thank you for all that you do. And we're going to say goodbye. And good night. And thanks for joining us.